Hello, YouTuber movers! You know, it definitely does look better with the camera up there than being down low. It is a whopping, went up to 19. Went down to 1 last night. And it was about 12 at lunchtime, so looks like we're getting a little heat wave. I don't care what anybody said. I was out there pumping gas today and it was like cold. It's just cold. I'm having my kombucha. Get this up there, the camera. Well, I know I can make my own, and I may just make my own at some point, but I haven't yet. It's a bit of a skill to develop, and I don't know if it's a winter thing, but I got a book off of Amazon for making kombucha, and the texts in the book were so small that I couldn't read it with these glasses. I couldn't read it with the magnifying glasses I carry in my pocket. I couldn't read it with a magnifying glass with these glasses on. So I ended up sending it back and got my money back, and I haven't looked to order another book. So there's probably some YouTube videos out there I can watch and learn about it. You know, it seems like I find it very useful for helping with probiotic things, and you know how you feel when your probiotics in your intestines are kind of out of balance. And you know, one of these jars, this is 25 ounces. It does seem like it makes a difference. And I imagine if I made my own, it would probably make a better difference. But yeah, I'm just putting in a plug. Kombucha. There's different brands out there, and you could probably find somebody local that makes it. So I was thinking about, actually I was watching this week's So Tuesday video, which it isn't Tuesday in a lot of places just yet, but they brought up this interesting thing about the seasons and aligning yourself to the seasons of the planet. Now, of course, this applies to about where you live or where you are living. Because obviously, if you live in America and you move to, say, New Zealand or Australia or Peru or someplace that's in the southern hemisphere, that it would be different. But I mean, we are connected to this planet. We're connected to Mother Nature. Whether you're a farmer or or something else, you're still connected to the seasons, unless you're living below ground, where you never really know what it is because it's always 60 degrees, and you're living under artificial light. I would tend to, I don't know what that's like. My experiences in a fallout shelter were short term, so they weren't over a long period of time, which is another story that I'll tell you someday. Just don't feel like it. So anywho, I'll just use an example from a farming perspective, that winter time, generally what people do is, if you live someplace like up here in the Northeast or the northern part of the United States, where everything is frozen outside, and except for those unique people like myself that can grow year round, but I really can't grow outside, and you're even kind of like programmed to it, because what do you get in the mail right now are catalogs for people you didn't know exists, for seeds and plants and farming supplies and gardening supplies, and all that stuff. You get a whole slew of them coming in the end of December into January, probably into February. You'll probably still get more of them. Um, so, you know, it's kind of the dreaming time. This is the time to dream of things to happen in the following year. Now, so I'll just keep going through the seasons, and then we can go back. It's this is the time to plan what you're going to plant for your crop in the spring. What are you going to do for seedlings? How many seeds you're going to buy or acquire? You're going to look at your own inventory to see what you have on hand. This is kind of the dreaming time. And then as we move into spring, we start planting seeds. Maybe probably if you live up this way, you're going to start seeds indoors. Most people seem to start from seed, then you're going to start with seedlings, and then you're going to plant them in when you can plant them. And that's kind of the, move into the manifestation time where you start to actually get physical with parts of your dream, and you start planting and turning over the soil and mixing up the compost and, saying sweet nothings to your seeds so your seeds will grow, and then when they start to grow, you start saying even nicer things to them so they grow more. And you get them ready to go out into the big bad world out there so they can grow into big plants and produce food. So that's part of the manifestation time. And then, through the summer, you take care of them and you give them more love and water and nutrients, and then comes into the fall, whereas you harvest, and then you harvest your food and store it away so that you can start the process all over again. And that by the time you get done with all that, you're back into December, January, February, where you are dreaming for the next year. And that applies similarly to doing into your life. You could be thinking about what you wish to accomplish in the next year, maybe more than a year, but you're going to be kind of dreaming about it, and you're going to think about what you could do because you have time on your hands. So usually things slow down around this time of the year, winter. And you get through all that high energy and stress around Christmas, and then you got this kind of time of peace and tranquility where you can kind of plan out what you wish to accomplish in the next year, or more than that. If it's more than that, you still got to plan out how you're going to get through starting it up. So maybe you want to build a barn. What are you going to do to build a barn? Well, first you got to build a foundation, and then first you got to draw up plans, and then if you have to get permits, you have to get permits, and or you build without the permits, and then you deal with that part. But, you got to put a foundation in, then you got to build a structure, then you got to side it, So you're going to start with planning it, and then you're going to move towards manifesting it. And maybe you can't build the whole barn one year. So the first year you do the foundation, and the second year you do the structure, and the third year you put a roof on it, and the fourth year you put sides on it. Same thing with your garden. Maybe you only start small with a garden this year, and then next year you expand out. You figure out what you're going to do in your garden, what you ultimately want in your garden, but you can't do it all one year, so you start small. You figure out what you can grow. So you want asparagus. Asparagus takes 2 years to grow. So you're going to start off with planting those things into the ground, and you're not going to really get anything from it for 2 years. So you have to do the groundwork. Or even if you're going to grow fruit trees, you want fruit trees or berry bushes or something, you're not going to be harvesting that first year. You're going to lay it out. You've got to figure out where they go. You've got to plant them in the spring. You've got to love them. for, years to come, and then eventually they're going to give you fruit. But it all starts with a dream. And it's the same thing in your life. So you're looking for, some particular goal. It's going to start with a dream, and you're going to then work towards what you need to do to manifest that dream. And you're going to take steps, and you're going to have patience. If you don't have patience, then everything else changes. But, and if you align yourself to the seasons, of course, if you live in the southern hemisphere and you live someplace where right now it's technically summer, it's the opposite, but it's basically the same thing. You're not going to try to force things to grow in your winter down there that's summer unless you have means to do it artificially, like a greenhouse or something like that. Even solar up here, solar is diminished. It's very low in the sky. You have to anticipate that you're going to be having less solar. In the southern hemisphere, they're all celebrating the sun. And, and then they'll be back where we are 12 months from now. So, by connecting yourself to the seasons of the planet, you're not really trying to swim against the wave. You're riding along the wave. As times change and the earth changes, you're moving along with it. You're riding the wave. Like I shared in other videos, you're riding the crescent of the wave, and riding the energy of the planet, following along with Mother Nature as she can best give you what she wishes to give you. Of course, she's not going to give you any more than they wish to give you. So you can't exactly steal from Mother Nature. She doesn't like it. So, in using the analogy of the farm, it's really easy to think about it in the course of the farm. They say you want to plant carrots, you're going to think about, I want to plant carrots. So what am I going to do to plant carrots? Well, this is what I got to do to plant carrots. This is what I got to do to take care of them through the summer. This is what I got to do to harvest and preserve them so that I can eat them all winter long and hopefully into the spring, so that when I'm harvesting carrots again, I can have a continual flow of carrots. So you're going to plant enough carrots so when you store them into your root cellar, oh wait, you don't have a root cellar? Well, maybe you need to build a root cellar before you build a barn. Or, instead of just doing a slab for your barn, you build a root cellar and then you build your barn over it. And then you go, oh, well, that'd be really cool, because that could be really cool. Your access into the barn is actually through a door instead of, it's really hard to put a root cellar in a place if you don't have a place to put a root cellar. So, access is a critical issue. You just can't put it anywhere. It has to be someplace shady. So that adds into your plan. So first year you put in a root cellar, and then you build a barn over it. Or maybe a teepee goes over the opening until you can have a barn over it. So it's all about the planning stage. And the more you plan, and then first you always have to be able to be flexible to adjust your plan down the road, because nothing is perfect, and every time you do something, you have an obstacle to achieve through. So, whatever best made plans is always have to be shifted. The last Saturday, my daughter and I was living at my daughter's house and have dinner and help her with a couple of things. Of course, she always wants me to help her with things that she can't do because, I can do things. And we had a northeaster come up, and it was kind of a surprise, but we had it. And of course, there was no way in the world I was going to drive out the northeaster unless it was, an emergency. So, we had to change our plans. So, there's always opportunities. You got to be able to move with the flow, ride the crest of the wave on the surfboard, and wish, swash, plan, manifest, harvest, change. Do it again if it doesn't work. Reevaluate. There's always opportunities to reevaluate. And gee, I bubble for 15 minutes here. So I think I'm going to sign off. I'm going to share a link to So2's video below. Feel free to watch it. Feel free to comment on it. Or you can comment on mine if you have questions. And there's a So2 coming up conversations on the 20th of December on Skype. If you wish to join in on that conversation, you need to contact Adrian, and there's an email there for it. But it would be fun. It would be fun. So, ta-ta! Happy, happy, happy.